if you can only choose between earning 300,000 or 800,000, which would you pick? Don't tell me both, it's not 4D. 2 units, same project, same budget. One is a 2-bedder facing landed enclave, and the other one slightly bigger facing the road. If I ask 10 buyers, 9 out of 10 would have picked the landed view, and I totally get it as a self-proclaimed nice views admirer. But the road facing one actually made $250,000 more, and that's the thing about mega project of this size. You're actually choosing one unit out of hundreds, and the gap between a good pick and a bad pick is actually bigger than what most people realize. So Thomson Reserve 1,268 units, 2 30-story blocks, 4 at 21 stories. We haven't had a mega launch like this in a while. We got to go back to the likes of Momentum Park, Jadescape, Affinity at Serangoon, Florence, Residences, Riverfront to see how they fare now. Those launches are actually really useful because they already show us exactly how buyers got this wrong. And today I want to go through the master plan where I think the pricing lands, what the resale track records around Thomson actually says, and then the selection stuff, which is actually the part that decides whether you walk away with 300,000 or 800,000 profit. So I am Kayla and let's go. Okay, a quick thing first, I'm not going to be going through the unit mix or the facilities or the site specs. There are already a ton of videos doing that, and honestly, you can probably get it off AI in about 30 seconds these days. So if you want the full specs, floor plans, etc., you can drop me a text at 91916513 and I'll send it to you via WhatsApp. But today, what I want to talk about is the stuff that you can't Google, you can't AI, and what I'm hearing on the ground, how the pricing is likely gonna work, and how you can pick your unit. So this is the map. Thomson Reserve sits here. Thomson 3 is behind it, and Guangming Shan over on this side. And you got this big plot, Windsor Nature Park, and marked subject to detailed planning. So let me explain to you how I read locations. There are 3 phases of transformation, and we break it down into announcement, completion, and finally infrastructure phase. So announcement is just awareness, people hear about it, and completion is when the thing actually opens and people go like, oh, it's actually real. And infrastructure phase follows because if you think about it, the government's not going to spend billions of millions of dollars on an MRT line and then leave it serving whoever who's already there. You know, they got to build around it to make the infrastructure spend make sense. So Bidadari is actually an example of this. Woodleigh MRT was announced back in 1996 and the rest of North East Line opened. But Woodleigh itself stayed shut for years and it only opened in 2011. So from an announcement to completion, the area moved 41%. And then infrastructure phase kicked in. Bidadari Estate was announced and finished in 2021 and prices went up by 57% and then another 33%. Woodleigh Mall and Woodleigh Residences TOP in 2023, from completion to infrastructure phase, the area did 112%. So infrastructure phase is the one that you want to be buying in to get the best returns in the shortest window. So now let's apply that to Thomson Reserve. Thomson East Coast Line was announced on 15 August 2014. Lentor, Bright Hill, Mayflower all completed in 2021 and running by 2023. The East Coast stretch came after. So where are we now? We are actually in the infrastructure phase. And you can literally see it, in the land sale. So first we had Lentor Township, then the Norwood Grand, Zion Grand, Promenade Peak, River Modern, River Green, all over the Zion area, Upper House at Orchard Boulevard, Villa Bay on the East Coast side of things. Now, Bright Hill is on the same line, so it gets the same treatment eventually. And Windsor Nature Park being earmarked for planning means PTO are coming and that a new township is coming. But subject to detailed planning means they haven't even cut the land parcels out yet. So not even on the 2025 master plan. So realistically, you could be looking at another 5 to 7 years or even more before that township actually shows up. So yes, we are early. Whether early is good or bad, it depends completely on how long you are intending to hold, and I'll come back to that later because that is probably the most important part of this video. But what is working in our favor is actually the cheap land price of 1,178 per square foot per plot ratio. In this current climate where 1,400, 1,800 PS FTTR is increasingly becoming a norm, 1,178 is the cheap. Okay, the next bit is probably the most underrated part of this whole analysis. Every township works towards roughly a 70-30% split. 70% HDBs, 30% private. So if we take Ang Mo Kio Township in District 20, which encompasses the Thomson and Lentor stretch, HDB is around 49,883 units, private is around 4,020 units, added together is about 53,903, and private is what? 7 point something percent? So 7% against a 30% target, right? That is not a small gap. It's actually a shortage. So two things come out of this analysis. One, the government has no reason to rush out more HDB into this area, which is exactly why Bright Hill and the Lentor plots are still sitting as subject to detailed planning. Private stocks will come in first. And two, this is the one that actually affects you. The upgraded pool here is deep and well funded. Ang Mo Kio and Bishan HDBs have crossed over 1.2 to 1.5 million now, and those sellers walk away with very serious capital, with most of them wanting to still continue to stay in the area. Their kids are here, the schools are here, the families here. It's the same engine that drove Ang Mo Residences and Jadescape when they launched. Now, I want to say something that I don't think enough people are saying. Disclaimer first, these are AI visualizations based on what we are hearing on the ground. Nothing is confirmed yet, but look at the site. 2 blocks facing the junction, 2 blocks facing Guangming San, 2 catching the West Sun, and the rest looking at Thomson 3, the HDBs behind. And so when people ask me what's so good about Thomson Reserve, right? My honest answer is that it's a decent chunk of the development has a pretty ordinary facing. It's not bad, and I'm not saying that it's bad, it's just ordinary. The part that is really, really good, right, is the nature-facing units, the landed enclave, the forest outlook, and for the higher units, you get the city view, and that is really, really, really a very nice view. Everything else is location. Ai Tong is at a 5 minutes walk, Thomson Plaza and all the eateries around there, around 3 minutes walk, and then that's the hype. And yeah, I'll call it the hype. Because remember, Jadescape actually only sold 20% on day 1. And everyone said that it was ulu. Nobody wanted it. Jadescape performance since then is the one that actually put Thomson Reserve on the map, not Thomson Reserve itself. And I'm telling you all of this because that facing spread is exactly what creates the profit gap I started this video with. If every block had the same view, unit selection wouldn't matter. But here, it really does. So pricing wise, I expect the nature and landed facings to cross above 3,000 per square foot. The less ideal ones will be somewhere around 2005 to 2009. Actually, one trend that we have been seeing, 2-bedders used to carry a higher per square foot than 3-bedders and 4-bedders, but that's actually flipped now. Bigger units command a higher PSF because families are buying it for livability and they are paying for it. Okay, let me show you how I got to this number instead of just throwing one out like that. I'm actually benchmarking off 2 projects from the same developer group. So the first one will be Parktown Residence, UOL and Singland. The land was sold at 889 per square foot per plot ratio. So the 2-bedder eventually launched at 2,247, average 2,403. 3-bedders from 2,235, average 2,327. 4-bedders from 2,135, average 2,297. So we prorate that up to Thomson Reserve's land price of 1,178, and then we knock off 10% because Parktown is a mixed development and Thomson Reserve is a pure residential project. So you'll get roughly around 2,865 for the 2-bedder, 2,715 for 3-bedder, 2,739 for 4-bedders. Now the second project will be Sky at Holland, Capital Land, Singland, UOL. The land was sold at 1,285 per square foot per plot ratio. We are started off at 2,598 for 2-bedder, 2,623 for 3-bedders, 2,698 for 4-bedders. And don't get fooled by the starting price, by the way, because their average came in around 2,934, 2,903 and 2,998 per square foot. So that's a 40-story project and per floor loading is doing a lot of the lifting for the per square foot. Average the 2 projects together, right, I'm landing roughly around 2,777 for 2-bedroom, 2,688 for the 3 and 2,743 for the 4-bedroom. And if you were to check it against Villa Bay, which launched from 2,532 per square foot, average 2,869, a sea view stock was at 3,000 PSF. So Villa Bay got the same kind of problem. Highway road, some units facing landed with no sea view. So those are your low per square foot units. Sea view is the premium units. And here, the equivalent of the sea view is actually the nature reserve and the landed view. So I do expect that kind of spread. So my working number is the entry will be around 2,526 for the compromise facing, average 2007 to 2008, and the nature landed high-rise city view facing right will be 3,000 to 3,200 per square foot. Okay, the next segment will actually help you to decide whether to buy Thomson Reserve at all. Jadescape TOP in 2023, the 2-bedders average around 600,000 profits, 3-bedders around 1 million, and the 4-bedders 1 million to 1.7 million. So this is the headline that everyone likes to quote, but the part that people don't really say is that those profits took 6 to 7 years. Ang Mo Residence is a closer comparison. Same developer group, UOL and Singland, and King Leong. And to note, the land was actually bought 10 to 20% above other OCR land at that time. 2-bedders did 250 to 300k, 3-bedders 500 to 600,000 over about 3 to 4 years, 4 and 5-bedders close to 600 to 700,000 in the same time period. So actually, if you look at the annualized returns, right, Ang Mo hold up really quite well against Jadescape. Similar annualized returns, but a shorter time period. And then let's widen out to the rest of Thomson, and it gets a bit sobering. So Thomson Grand, 3-bedroom profited around 900,000. It took 12 to 13 years. Annualized returns was about 3%. Thomson Impressions, 900,000 to a million, about 9 years. Annualized is about 5%. Thomson 3, the one directly behind us, top transactions was 1.1 million, took 11 to 12 years. So you see the pattern, Thomson delivers but over time, and you can see it in the PSF chart. There's a proper flat stretch in the middle where nothing actually happened. And then it moved from 1,600 to 2,300, 2,400 as the HDBs hit the MOP and all the yummy upgrader money finally hits the private market. So let me just say it simply, because this is probably the most useful thing in this entire video. If you're thinking of a 3 to 4 years flip, this is probably not your project. There are better options for that time horizon, and I will happily tell you what they are if you ask me. But if you're thinking 7 to 10 years, then this is a project for you, because this is what the track records actually say. One more check I will do before we get into the units. If I were to normalize everything around here back to 99 years plus 7% GFA harmonization, so that we are comparing apples to apples, basically, what would each of these projects cost if it was to be launching brand new again today? So Lentor Modern, 2,849, Panorama, 2,747, Ang Mo, 2,921, Thomson Impressions, 2,878, Jadescape and Skyview both above 3,000. So if we get in at Thomson Reserve at 2005 to 2006, you're actually buying below normalized resale, and that's a pretty good deal. If you are getting a high floor that clears a canopy with a greenery view at 3,000 or 3,001 per square foot, I'll still take it, because Jadescape and Skyview don't even have that view. And even less ideal facing at 2,500 to 2,800, you're still entering underneath the surrounding stock. But one trap though, Thomson Grand looks cheap, normalized to something like 1,769 to 2,297. Then you open up the floor plan. Their 3-bedders are 1,346 square feet. Sounds generous and big, right? But if you see the oversized balcony, a second balcony behind the bedroom, 2 aircon ledge, void space cut into the middle of the unit, that's already around 30% wasted space. So this is from before the era, before the balconies got regulated by URA. And if you adjust for that, Thomson Grand's actually 2,299 to 2,986, actually not cheap also. So don't let a low PSF headline fool you, and always check what you are actually paying for. Okay, so this is the part that you are here for. In a mega development, a 2-bedder isn't just one product. It might be 8 stacks stretched across 4 different facings. And if you pick the wrong facing, you're talking about a difference between 250,000 to 500,000. First, size beats view. In riverfront residences, a 3-bedroom compact 872 square feet river facing unit bought October 2018 at 1.218 million, sold August 2025 at 1.63 million. The profit was 412,000. It's pretty decent, no complaints here. Now, a 3-bedroom premium 1066 square feet, block facing, low floor, bought July 2018 at 1.272 million. So that's a 60,000 top up, which is maybe around 15 to 16k more in down payment. Sold in September 2025 at 1.928 million and a profit of 656k. So a $250,000 more for 6,000 more down payment with a worse view. So there's the same lesson at Jadescape, and this one is even bigger. Stack 16 clears the HDB, decent unblocked view. Bought December 2022 at 1.92 million, sold April 2026 at 2.25 million, 330,000. Stack 11, 1012 square feet facing the opposite block. Bought October 2022 at 1.8 million and sold December 2025 at 2.648 million, 848,000. $500,000 in difference on the cheaper unit with the worst view. So the view is what you enjoy, the size is what the next buyer actually pays for. Second, high floor, but there is a limit. Everyone assumes high floor wins. Usually it does, but then not always. My rule of thumb is 22%. If the entry gap between the high floor and the low floor is under 22%, then take the high floor. So for Florence Residences, 980 square feet, low floor bought in December 2021 at 1.488 million and sold August 2025 at 1.76 million, 272,000. Same stack, 17th floor, bought a month later at 1.565 million, sold August 2024 at 1.93 million, 365,000. 13th floors up and only cost 5% more at entry, shorter hold, 90,000 more profit. Third, watch for the overlaps. So Jadescape again, a 3-bedroom compact at 904 square feet, 1.578 million in, sold 2.25 million, profit 671k. The 3-bedder premium at 1055 square feet, bought at 1.703 million, sold 2.73 million, profit 1,026,000. 36,000 more in down payment, 355,000 more in profit. So when you see a high floor small unit priced the same as a low floor bigger unit that overlaps, that is your opportunity, and most people missed it completely because they are looking at the beautiful view instead of the price list. So here's what you have been waiting for. Why would I buy Thomson Reserve and why would I not buy Thomson Reserve? I wouldn't buy here on 3 or 4 year horizon. The track record just doesn't support a quick flip, and the township is still 5 to 7 years out. So I wouldn't chase a small unit just because it faces a landed enclave and a beautiful greenery view. So that's where the case studies actually says the buyers lose the most money. So what I would do is to take the biggest unit type that I can afford at the lowest spacing I can live with, and I'll pay for floor level only if the entry gap stays inside 22%. And I'll only do any of it with a 7 to 10 years time horizon in mind. Thomson Reserve is launching around September to October. It's August now. So you got a planning window that most people are gonna waste. And if you're a first time home buyer, everything in this video is avoidable, but only if you decide on your priorities before the ballot and not during it. Because in that room with that much height, you won't be thinking clearly. Nobody does. And if you're holding on to a resale that needs to move first, please start now. I'm already working with owners coming out of the area and they are already repositioning themselves into this launch. So if you leave your sale until 2 weeks before the balloting day, you will take a weaker price on the way out and you still won't be ready to buy. I've been in this industry for 5 years, consistently a top producer across HDB, condo, landed, commercial and new launch. But what I actually bring to the balloting table isn't the years, it's the framework that you just watch me use. So 2 things that you can do right now. I put together a free ebook specifically on Thomson Reserve unit selection. Just message me and I'll send it over. And if you want me to run your actual numbers, your timeline, your shortlist, set up a one-to-one with me at 91916513. Like and subscribe if you find this helpful. And I am Kayla, and this is Let Kayla Guide You Home. See you in the next one.